You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same.
Well, all right. It is Tuesday night. That means it's time for the Jen and Rick Show right here on KLRNradio.com, where we typically do this thing, usually pretty close to 9 o'clock. Hurricane Harvey, you bastage. So, we were having some Skype issues, so we're later than usual, so we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Of course, I am one half of the crew, Mr. Big Robinson, joined by the other half of the crew, Miss Jen Homestead, and as far as I know, Jen, this will be our last Tuesday, because effective next Tuesday, it looks like we have Game On with JD and Stacy, making their triumphant return to KLRNradio.com in the time slot that we have right now. So, sadly, you got to make way for the great ones, because, you know, they get better numbers than I do.
Yeah, I'm sad to not do it twice a week, but I'm happy to have them back. That's how I initially pretty much met all of you guys, was because I stumbled upon Game On and, you know, started interacting with JD and Stacy, which led me to you and pretty much all the other great people I know on Twitter.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of how I met all you guys, was through them, because, you know, they had the big dust up and brouhaha with the radio host currently known as Chaco Jeebus, formerly known as Wayne Dupree. And basically they had decided that they were looking for a new home and decided to come over here, and pretty much the rest has been history. With their help and some really hard pushing, we've been to events. My first trip to CPAC was with those two. They actually managed to cover the RNC last year for the station that we were running currently, which is not KLRN Radio. So that's something that I'm looking to get the station here to have the type of credibility to do, is be able to get credentials for events like that, because that was just insane for folks that had only been doing this for a couple of years together to basically take a brand, build it up, and get it to the point where it was actually recognized by Congress as a media outlet. I was just like, holy cow, we actually did that. I don't know how we did it, but we did it. So yeah, but anyway, so they are coming back. They have had an extended hiatus based on the fact that mainly JD has decided to transplant himself to the left coast. Although after seeing some of the news that I have seen coming out of the left coast lately, I'm not sure why anyone would want to go there. Apparently there is I think they are actually trying to pass a law that you can be arrested, fined, and possibly imprisoned for failure to use the pronoun of preference of an individual, which I find completely insane.
Well, it's okay. He doesn't use pronouns anyways. He just determines whether he just, labels people by normal person or midget. So he doesn't really care about gender.
Well, this is true. I mean, he is all about honestly, I think for him, his rule for midget's a little different. If you're 5'9" or lower.
I'm pretty sure I'm a midget.
Because, yeah, honestly, I'm kind of short, so he told me that I was on the cusp of being a midget. So I'm like, really?
Yeah,
that is
I
not the
remember
legal
long
definition
ago
of midget.
long ago when we established the whole midget thing, and I told him about, how it's really funny that he said that, because for a long time I've wanted to open a male midget strip club called Teeny Weenies, which he just thought was hilarious and loved. I said, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure, that I'm 5'0", right? I'm pretty sure you think I'm a midget. And he was like, oh, no, you are. I'm like, all righty then.
Nice. Well, I mean, that is JD. I mean, he just kind of tells you exactly what he thinks. And there's no filter. It's one of the things that I always loved about their show. It was, I don't know, to me, they'd always reminded me of, well, I mean, I don't really know of any other way to put it. And it's going to sound a little weird because they'd always kind of reminded me of like Abbott and Costello, because JD was the absolute crazy one and she's just always the one trying to keep him, from running away with it. And I don't know, it's just been great. So I'm really, really excited to have them coming back. They're already making plans to be part of the CPAC crew this week. So I am, this year, not this week, this next week. Wow. So for anybody who's wondering if I sound a little more off than usual, I'm actually suffering from a migraine tonight, but we decided we were doing this show anyway. So if I start rambling coherently or start saying things like purple when I should be saying things like politics, somebody call my wife and tell her I need an ambulance. But anyway, so I don't know. Like I said, lots of stuff going on tonight, and it would be one of the nights that I could probably do America Off the Rails and rant for an entire hour, but with a migraine, sitting under fluorescent lights, and the fact that we got a late start, there will not be a live America Off the Rails tonight. I know I cheated last night. I did a live rebroadcast, but that was because I had things going on with my son. So, had things I had to, you get a phone call, you got to deal with it. All right, so anyway, enough about me and my migraine and the fact that we're making a schedule change. As far as I know, it will be next Tuesday. They actually said they wanted the first Tuesday after the... Now, they said the first Tuesday after the Memorial Day weekend, so I'm not sure if that actually means this coming Tuesday or the following, but we'll play that by ear as we go. But as far as anything else that's going on in the news, I know that there's been some stuff going on that's pretty close to you, so I didn't know if there was anything particular you wanted to lead off with tonight, because we hadn't really had much of a chance to talk about what we were going to discuss.
I think in general, well, first of all, I want to say, and because, there are so many people that have friends and family connected to this situation that are a part of our kind of Twitter crew, and my extended group of people on Twitter and also Facebook that, there are so many people doing so many really wonderful things and just being so selfless. And I've just been really, really proud to see how people have come together, how, people that also are in danger and also have had to evacuate are still jumping in and helping even more people that are evacuating. I mean, you're talking about, I saw earlier that it said, that so much of the city is underwater and is flooded, that it's the size of the size of New York and Chicago combined. Houston is huge. This is insane how much this flooding, is affecting so much of the greater area. And from someone in Texas who also experienced some dicey weather for a few days there when the hurricane made landfall and moved inland a little bit. And someone who has a lot of friends and families in the area that are affected or have homes there. I just want to thank everybody for how great they've been. And I want to say thank you to all of the people that have actually been doing the work. I know a lot personally that have been doing the work, and, a lot has been talked about various people and how they're pitching in, but I just think it's absolutely wonderful and fantastic, and, makes me really want to punch someone in the face face. They want to punch Nazis in the face. I want to punch Slate in the face because they just published an article entitled that, here, let me pull it up real quick. Houston doesn't showcase America at its best. Basically, like, you don't help people when it's not flooding, so y'all also suck and also Trump something Trump. There's just been so many hot takes, and there's so many of the people having these hottest of hot takes have never set foot in Texas. They've never set foot in Houston. They have no freaking clue what they're talking about. They don't know what's going on there right now. And I would say that most of them have probably never been in some sort of dire situation, and definitely not a natural disaster. And they can all shove it where the sun doesn't shine. So I want to get that out of the way real quick, because I have been so pissed off about the things that I've been seeing.
JR, you really shouldn't hold things in like that. Just tell us how you really feel. I mean, don't hold back. I mean, I'm just saying.
I know. I'm so reserved.
But I mean, it's okay. So I promised I wasn't going to yell, so I'm going to rein myself back in a little bit. But I don't understand what it is these people think they're trying to accomplish. I mean, have they basically just acknowledged the fact that their base that reads their paper is so anti-Trump that they're willing to watch or listen to them slam anything as long as they can tie it back to Trump? I mean, we're literally watching people fight for their lives, their homes, their families, and going through hell, and they're like, oh yeah, well, this isn't Texas at their best. Okay, I want to, just to compare and contrast, I want to talk about all the people that they're showing in the media in Texas right now that took it upon themselves to bring out boats and fan boats and everything else, and actually took it upon themselves to start rescuing people. I could be wrong, because it's been 12 years, somewhere around 12 years since we've had a storm anywhere like this one. But I don't remember hearing about those type of things when it was the East Coast that was impacted. I don't remember hearing all these stories about people banding together and starting to rescue people. I remember hearing a lot of people that were complaining because the government wasn't moving fast enough. But I don't remember all these stories of people, taking it upon themselves to go rescue people. I mean, now there were things that happened because there were groups that got together and they started putting together, relief efforts and everything else. But I don't remember hearing stories about people that took it upon themselves to get out into the middle of this mess and start trying to save people and rescue people and do all the things that I've seen regular, everyday people do in Texas. And for a magazine, especially one as asinine as Slate, to say, well, this doesn't represent Texas. How the hell do you know what represents Texas? I'm not even a Texan, and I'm offended. Normally, I'm making fun. I'm making fun of Texans because I'm an Okie. But at the same time, we're basically like cousins. I can pick on my cousin. You pick on my cousin, I'm gonna punch you in the throat.
Yeah, exactly. But I also, the other day there was this take about, because there were so many beautiful pictures coming out, terrifying but beautiful. And there was one where it was a fan boat that had a conservative flag on the back, obviously something they take fishing or take to go down the bayou. And a conservative flag, you know what I meant, a Confederate flag. There and it was, some good old white boys, whatever. And they were picking up African Americans that were chest high in water. And, instead of that just being a wonderful thing, a ton of people had to come out and troll it and say, well, yeah, but they're still racist at the end of the day, so screw them. And I would have thrown their flag in the water and and all of this stuff, and how that they shouldn't be judged on the acts that they were actually doing. They should be judged because of a flag that was hanging on the back of their boat, and that counts for more than anything that they actually did in their real life. That is so insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be one of these things, what was that old saying that everybody used to live by? Actions speak louder than words. It used to be that we would look at the things that people were doing or the things that they were, and not really, and basically give them the benefit of the doubt because maybe they had said or done something or said something, or maybe in this instance put a flag on the back of their boat that might have been offensive, but they were still going out of their way to help people. So it's another one of these instances where the left has completely lost it, and at this point I'm not sure how they ever get it back, because they have just gone all in with everything is racist. No matter what it is, no matter, I mean, if you're not black or you're not Latino, you're a racist, period.
Yeah, it's so disgusting. I mean, and in a time where so many people of so many different backgrounds are truly coming together, if there was something that could unify us, it should be a disaster, a natural disaster like this that knows no demographic, knows no color, knows no class, knows no gender. I mean, really is just as blind as can be on that front. It affects everybody. And that should be a thing where we can truly say we are all affected and come together, or we are all here to help and come help to do that. And instead, they're continuing to push these ridiculous narratives and having these takes that are just so out of control. I mean, it's just really proving what truly out of touch, spoiled brats they are.
Well, you know, as far as you saying, you know, that the hurricane really didn't have anything to do with demographics, etc., I had seen, and I don't remember who put it out, but on Friday I had seen probably the dumbest tweet I think I've seen on Twitter in a very long time, and it was somebody making the exact opposite argument, that this hurricane was somehow going to impact black families more than it did anyone else in Texas. And just from the way that they had worded it, I was like, you're really making this sound like global warming has created semi-sentient weather patterns. And, of course, I took all kinds of crap for pointing that. I'm just like,
well, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing, though, is that all of the, well, karma's a bee because, you know, Texans are Trump voters and climate deniers. I mean, give me a freaking break. And also, by the way, all of you people out there that think you're so freaking clever talking about how, you know, Texas is a red state and these rednecks deserve what they're getting, or all that kind of hateful BS. Houston is a blue city. Houston went for Hillary Clinton. So I don't know, maybe just think of it a second before you open your fat mouth. I'm so sick of this. People are so mean. And it's not just 35, you know, follower accounts on Twitter. It's verified accounts. It's actual journalists. And then people go, well, I was only saying that, and I'm not really, that's just my personal opinion. That doesn't represent XYZ news organization or publication. Well, I'm sorry. How can I even think that you could report on anything, just even with the hint of fairness, when you are retweeting stuff about how Texas deserves this because they're Republican or because they're Trump supporters? That is just about as hateful and ignorant and divisive as I can think of. And you want me to then think that you are just reporting something, or that you're some article you write, some piece you put out is well researched and considering things from all sides? Hell no. I mean, it's just been outrageous. And you know, I still have to try to focus on that despite all of that and how stupid all of that is being. It has been. I just, there are so many things that people have said and done that I just can't even believe it. I have to realize and I have to remember that there's that many more people doing such amazing work. And it's been really, there have been people that have driven from all over. You have the Cajun Navy coming from Louisiana. You've got people coming in from all over the United States to try to help, especially as a part of these, you know, organizations that typically go places for disaster relief. But people organizing on their own too. That's really, really cool. I'm I know someone who's helping me work with a group that kind of spontaneously came together to get medical supplies, and they're flying them into Austin, and they need people to drive them halfway to Houston. And then from there, they've got another team that's staging things so they can split it up for the various communities that need and shelters that need certain things more. And then they've got people that are driving them in, and there's boats to meet them if they need to carry them by water. Those are just regular people that started a Facebook group, basically. And they had some people that are in the medical industry that were able to figure out how to help. That's happening everywhere and from so many different angles. So it's really inspiring. And I hope that is more of the takeaway for your average American that's watching this unfold and horrified by everything that's happening. I hope that's more of their takeaway than all of these negative jerk-offs.
So not to play devil's advocate for a second, but you just mentioned that Houston went blue. So maybe it really is karma after all. Just kidding.
On the other side.
I'm just saying, if they're going to start yelling about how it's karma because, Texas voted for Trump, you'll be like, well, Houston actually went for Hillary. So does that make that a blue city? So maybe you should rethink your karma argument unless you want to admit that if it is, it's your fault.
Right. Well,
But
that
anyway.
is kind of funny. I guess, and then the other thing I want to say about, I know a lot of people are asking about how they can help, what they can do, that they're far away, but they want to do something. And I have a couple of suggestions, just real quick. First of all is go to Jesse Kelly's timeline. He's at Jesse Kelly DC on Twitter. He has been pooling resources. He has been organizing supply shipments and all sorts of other things. He's just got a ton of good info on there. And he's got him and his wife, Aubrey Kelly, both have repeatedly posted links of ways in which that you can help that are reputable sources and that will be directly helping the actual relief efforts. You can know that your money or supplies you send via Amazon, which is something that I've already done. I think a lot of people have, and that's not something that's always been available in disasters before. So it's really kind of cool. They're also organizing some ground crews for Amazon that will have volunteers that get the packages and the shipments from the point where as far as the trucks can safely go for Amazon's company policy and their drivers, and have ground teams that will receive the supplies and that are official representatives of various shelters, and we'll be able to take them on into the shelters. That's incredible. This is going to change the way disaster relief, works, which I think is so cool. And we're just learning it. We're just figuring it out, but it's really going to make a difference. But anyway, so go to Jesse's TL and you can get good info on there. And then other than that, I would just say to be really careful about where you're giving your money. And really research it. GoFundMe is verifying. There are a few of these families and stuff that have lost everything that have GoFundMe accounts, and they are official. You can contact GoFundMe and make sure that account is legit. And then also, I would just say if you're going to donate to one of the more national organizations, some of them have a specific place to donate for Harvey relief versus just going to the overall org. And then there's tons of local charities and local groups that are working, and Jesse's sharing a lot of that. I'm sharing a lot of that info, and there's a lot of places where you can find that information. But that's just what I would encourage you to do if anyone's looking to help, actually help directly these victims of Harvey. So before we went all crazy, I wanted to make sure I got that in.
Sweet. All right, so we're coming up on a break. Before we go to break, though, I did want to play some audio that I actually had shared with me that I was actually going to use for the show tonight on Off the Rails, and since I'm not going to be doing that one, figured we could use it here. This is actually an audio clip of a story that was put together about the 136th Airlift Wing sending aid to Hurricane Harvey victims in Galveston, Texas. I've got the audio coming up right about now. It'll run for just about a minute.
136th Airlift Wing answered their fellow Texans' call by sending the first wave of C-130s to Galveston, Texas to fly out victims of Hurricane Harvey on August 28th. Director of Operations for the 136th Airlift Control Flight, Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Cruz, tells us the plan.
So it's a perfect opportunity really for us to use the airlift assets that we have with the C-130s and all the associated support resources to come in and help out fellow Texans, get them out of harm's way and bring in the relief supplies that the first responders need. It's a lot quicker, and in this case with the flooding, it's a lot more reliable.
A citizen of the nearby flooded town of Dickinson, Texas, Carl Ross Hoover, says he is grateful for the support.
I'm amazed at the coordination between each other in getting us taken over from place to place and then put onto a plane. Everything is going like clockwork.
And that was just at least one story of some of the things that have actually come together. And in the face of natural disaster, at least at this point, it seems like we're finally getting things together well enough where there haven't been nearly the crazy stories that we've heard about from some of the other ones over the years. And as far as things just not going the way they had hoped. Now, unfortunately, the downside with that is some of this we won't really know about until years after the fact, kind of like the whole FEMA trailer thing. Everybody thought that was a great idea when they first started doing it. Then you started hearing about all the horror stories a couple years later. But
yeah, I think that there's going to be, there already have been some issues. Thankfully, they seem to have been few and far between. I do know that the mayor has just instituted a curfew to try to limit some of the issues in evacuated homes and abandoned homes. They want even though the homes are maybe destroyed and they can't go back to them right now, you want these people to have something to come back to. And I think that they're trying their best to kind of do that. And obviously emergency services are stretched so thin right now that, cops just can't be manning every corner or every, let's say they're not streets anymore, waterway to make sure people aren't robbing homes. But I think they are doing a pretty dang good job of limiting a lot of the shenanigans. Either that or people are sometimes things are so devastating that even the criminals can't do what they would normally want to do because they're so put out themselves. So maybe that's just the case. I don't know. I like to think that it's because people are behaving more humanely, but I'm sure there will be more and more stories of crime coming out as we go farther through this.
All right, so on the way out the break, I only have one question because it'll probably be one of the last times I get to play it without getting yelled at since I stole it from them. Did somebody mention shenanigans?
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah. Sorry, had to. One last time because, again, they started that, so they'll probably want it back. All right, so anyway, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we actually have more to talk about. All these blue check marks on Twitter just showing their asses, I swear. It's like, I don't even understand why Twitter verifies people anymore, because if it were me and that were my business, I would be like monitoring everybody that I have verified and been like, look, dude, I have vouched for you and you're being an ass. Your check mark's gone. But what do I know? All right, we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
Alright folks, welcome back. We are live. This is the JAndR Show. We are live right now on KLRNradio.com where liberty and reason still reigns. Again, remember next week, as far as we know, there will be a scheduling change. We will be down to Thursdays, which honestly we may at some point figure out if we can find another night to bring it back, maybe. But right now I could kind of use the extra hour off because there's all kinds of things behind the scenes that I'm falling behind on because I'm always pushing buttons somewhere. But anyway, so we were talking off break, and we were actually talking about one of the topics I was going to bring up when we got back from break, and that was apparently that, you know, with all these people drowning and, you know, people losing their husbands and their furniture and their homes and their cats and their dogs and all of these things that are going on, apparently there was a news journalist who the only thing that he thought or they thought was imperative to bring to the conversation in regards to Houston was the First Lady really shouldn't have worn stilettos to go visit the flood. I'm like, really?
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody remembers a couple weeks ago, but my loathing of people that criticize women in stiletto heels is pretty well documented from an article that was put out by Vanity Fair or Vogue or somebody like that about, you know, what Trump women wearing high heels means, and it was all of this crazy stuff. To which, of course, everybody went and found all these pictures of Michelle Obama and even the author herself in high heels, which was great.
Oddly enough, they never found any with Barack in high heels, which kind of surprised me.
Well, dang it. I really would have liked to see that.
And he wears jeans, so, you know, who knows?
But this is just so... I mean, basically, my main thing that pops into my head when they go on and on about this is, hello, this is why Trump won. How dumb can you be? I mean, seriously, Politico had an entire story and then followed it up, had an entire story about it, then followed it up with a story that said, you know, that why have they not, the White House didn't comment on her attire being off. I'm like, what? This makes, why would they do that? Like, for what reason would the White House comment on the fact that some, you know, Twitter elite, snobby, stupid biatches got their panties all in a wad because Melania walked to the plane in stiletto heels from D.C. getting on the plane to go to Texas? I mean, out of touch is she, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know how out of touch you are? Think that anyone gives a freaking crap about what kind of shoes she's wearing when they're coming to visit a disaster zone. I mean, you can giggle about it and be like, if she really thinks she's going to wear high heels, it's like raining and muddy, and that's kind of stupid. But to make it this ongoing controversy and then expecting the White House to answer to that controversy, which is a non-troversy, I mean, it's so hilarious that they're still questioning and rehashing the election and why they are not in power. Well, it's because of crap like this.
I mean, you know, and we were actually, again, talking about this off break, and one of my takes was, you know, I mean, we're talking about the First Lady in the first place. I mean, aside from Hillary Clinton, who in the 90s decided she was going to try to co-president, and Michelle Obama trying to ruin kids' lunches, what exactly do first ladies even really do anyway? So, I mean, why are we talking about that in the middle of a natural disaster when, I mean, it's just one of those things. I'm just so tired of the fact that no matter what the White House does, they cannot get any positive press, and it's getting to the point where they can't get any positive press from anyone. And look, I get it. I was never a member of the Trump train. I did not want this man to be president. I don't know how many more times I can say that, but the simple fact of the matter is he is president. And I'm not going to keep rooting for him to fail just because everybody else is doing it now because they want the Chris Matthews tingle. Because, well, I feel better about it when I'm yelling about how horrible he is and then he does something stupid, because then I can pump my fist in the air and see, like, see, I told you. And look, I get it. I have those moments too, because he'll do or say something, or something will go sideways, and I'll be like, we kind of saw this coming, folks, but he's still president, so what are you going to do? But this isn't even supposed to be one of those times. This isn't politics. We're literally talking about people's lives hanging in the balance, and we have liberal media people talking about what the hell the First Lady wore to go visit the flood zone.
Right.
I don't give a shit.
In the middle of a natural disaster, that is devastating as all get out, they're talking about a fashion disaster, a fashion faux pas. I mean, who do you think takes you seriously outside of the Northeast, I guess? Maybe the West Coast, but I think even them are going, what? Because they deal with their fair share of disasters, and I can tell you they don't freaking care either. It's just, I mean, they are just, man, they are showing themselves as left and right so horribly throughout this whole thing. I don't understand. And it makes me start to go, well, some of these people that are, then tweeting these things that are like, they've tweeted these really mean, angry things, and then they're also going, but, I really hope that someone can help and donate to this. Well, then half of the charities that they're suggesting people donate to benefit Democrats, organizations that benefit Democrats, because ultimately they don't really care about this. They want you to turn Texas more blue. I mean, it's just disgusting.
Yeah, I saw somebody tweeting out earlier today that if they wanted to help Texans, they should vote. They should send money to Planned Parenthood in Texas and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with flooding? Absolutely nothing. You guys are taking a serious natural disaster and you're politicizing it all the way from they're getting what they deserve because they're a bunch of climate deniers and this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for climate change. All the way to the vote for send money to Planned Parenthood. I'm like, really? Just stop.
And today, they can't. Trump was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. They're nitpicking apart him coming here. But if he hadn't have come, then he would have been heartless and didn't care and just tweeting about it. And so that would have been inappropriate. But he does come and they find things that they think are inappropriate. I mean, it's just even some very hard never Trumpers were like, give it a rest. It was the right thing to do. It was good for him to not go down and get in the way and get his hands dirty, but he did make some appearances. He talked to some people and he made sure that his presence was felt and he said the right things. So give it a freaking rest already. And that was coming from some very hard critics of Trump who don't even give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if ever. So, to just keep kind of pushing that and being so petty in the face of such horror is, I guess they are doing people favors because they're showing me who they are, even more so than what I already thought. I could have before compartmentalized some of these people and said, well, they're really nasty because politics and because they want to push this one agenda. And so that makes them kind of blind, and it's easy to be that way on social media and when you're not having someone talking back to you. But I could consider, because a lot of times some of these people, people that know them in real life that are on the opposite side of them say they're actually really lovely people. And, they sound so mean and angry and bitter online, but they're actually really great. And they do this and they do that. And our friends play together and yada, yada, yada. And when stuff like this happens and they're behaving this way, I go, you know what? I don't think you're one of those that falls into that category. I think you're actually a nasty, bitter, ugly, petty person. So thanks for showing me, because now I know to never take you seriously ever again.
And that's my problem with it. I mean, like you said, if there was anything that was going to bring this country together, it should have been something like what's going on in Texas right now. This isn't a political issue. This is a lives hanging in the balance issue. This is not a left-right issue. This is a natural disaster. And for all of the people that are still politicizing it, they're trying to get a political leg up over it. They're trying to one-up Trump over it. They're trying to do all of these things. All you're doing to me is proving to me that you never deserved any of my attention in the first place. Now, granted, being a guy that does talk radio, that makes it really hard for me to do talk radio if I'm not giving you attention, but it doesn't mean that I can't use that to be as negative attention as possible. And I understand that in this business, a lot of people think that there's no such thing as negative publicity, and I've even caught myself saying that a time or two, but there are times when this is not the type of publicity these people would have wanted. It's kind of like there was somebody, and I don't remember who it was another blue check mafia dude, talking about the fact that he was heckled on the tarmac while trying to go interview the president while arriving in Texas today. And everybody on the thread was like, oh my God, that's terrible. But every other tweet was like, well, you talk bad about us all the time. Did you really not think that somebody was going to come talk bad to you, to your face? I mean, really? And I'm just thinking, well, they kind of have a point, because a lot of these media types, especially when it comes to flyovers, they took Hillary's basket of deplorables comment, and they've pretty much run with it ever since. And it's just like nobody can do anything right if they're in flyover country because, well, they voted for Trump, which automatically makes them stupid. And so,
or not even just stupid, makes you a horrible person. Like, you're either stupid, or if you're not stupid, then you truly are evil. That's this whole literally Hitler type crap, so that it's even worse than just dumb. They do think some people are just dumb. They think the rest of us are just actually evil.
Well, and that's just them showing their stupidity again. And, that is the only good thing that I think has come out of this, and the fact that they're still acting like pedantic little children, is the fact that they literally are showing us who they are. And that goes back to that thing that you were talking about a moment ago with these people that say, well, I've met them in real life and they're really nice people. No, I'm sorry, I don't think they are. Because the thing about being able to do something like Twitter, once you get comfortable there, you show people more of who you are on a thing like that, because it allows you the freedom to basically be who you are on the inside. All of these people that are spouting all these mean, hateful, angry things all the time, that's because that's what they feel like on the inside, and Twitter gives them an outlet for it. If you don't believe me, ask a psychiatrist or a psychologist, because they're going to tell you the very same thing. Because honestly, that's part of what, especially if you're one of those accounts that you got a fake name, fake picture, whatever the case may be, you just let things fly because you don't care. So to think that, well, these are really great people in person, no, you're seeing their mask. A lot of times on Twitter, because a lot of times they will hide behind the mask, they'll show you who they truly are, but you won't think so because you know them in person. And honestly, that's something that a lot of folks have kind of figured out with me over the last few years that I've gotten more comfortable on Twitter, because I am literally a smartass. I am the biggest smartass you will ever meet, and it comes out all over the place on Twitter. I may not necessarily be that way when we talk in person, because I'm a little more self-conscious when we're in person. I'm not that way when I'm on the radio, and I'm not that way when I'm on Twitter. And that's one of the reasons why I can tell you that a lot of times these people that tell you, well, that they're just doing this because they're anonymous and it makes them feel powerful and blah, blah, blah. No, you're missing the point, because they're comfortable enough that they're showing you who they truly are. Because they don't have to worry about what you think or what you feel, because they've got everybody else in their life convinced that they're not this type of person. So they can just be whoever they really are on the inside through something like social media. And I think that's honestly what's made some of this so bad, because there are no filters on social media. People just let it fly. And basically it's, fire the torpedoes, damn the consequences. And that's really all there is to it. There's no holding back anymore. There's no civility. There's no, well, I really shouldn't say this because I might hurt somebody's feelings. It's, screw them. And, I understand free speech and I understand all of that, but at the same time, we used to take things into account before we just fired with both barrels. And we really kind of don't do that anymore on either side. I'm saying we as in me too, because I do it all the time.
But I think that there are people, and I like what you said about, getting more comfortable, and so then you really kind of show it. And I think that there are people that I vehemently disagree with but I really don't think are bad, terrible, most awful people ever. And some people will disagree with me on this, but there are some leftists that I don't know that I ever agree with them on anything, but I don't think that they're bad, nasty, awful people or evil. I think that they have bought into liberal ideology to such an extreme, and I think they really believe it. I think they really, truly think that some of these things would make America better. I think they really, truly think that some of these policies would help more poor Americans. I think they really, truly think that women are better off if they have Planned Parenthood and if that Planned Parenthood is funded and that they can have abortion on demand. I think that they have truly separated themselves from some of the realities of these things, and they are dyed in the wool, completely bleeding hearted believers. Now, I kind of look to some of those people that I feel that way about whenever something like this is going on, to see what they're sharing and to see what they're saying. And I am glad that a few of the people that I have pegged that way, that I think that their heart is in the right place, even when they're jerks about politics, because they just can't possibly understand it from our side, and they really believe that they know the best way. It's heartening for me to then look at what they're saying and doing, and to see that they are not buying into some of this extremely negative crap and not spreading really hateful things about the Trump voters and this and climate change and that. I mean, I looked at, let's give one example, Sally Kohn today. I looked at her timeline, and, the only thing that she has put on there in regards to Houston has been several retweets about how to help, and sending her own tweet that said, sending gratitude to all the brave public servants helping rescue everyone in Houston and the people volunteering to help too. Thank you. No snarky anything, no trying to make a joke about Trump voters, no sharing of the horrible articles we've talked about or the horrible tweets that we've talked about already on the show. So I do think that there are people like that out there that differ from us, and this is a time where we really do unite with them. But you've got these other people that are hell-bent on keeping us separate and denying us that unity in a time of crisis and of hurting. And those are the ones that I would say are really hurting America. They're really the ones keeping us from moving forward in any sort of unified way. Trump or no Trump, it's these people that are going to behave like this regardless, because they are just that embittered.
I mean, so I guess I have to ask the question, though, what do you think has made them come as far unhinged as they have? Because honestly, by now, we've literally been talking about this since November the 9th. I really thought that by now, we're seriously starting to look at rounding the corner towards, a couple months, and it'll be a year. And these people are still just as completely unhinged and safe and in need of a safe space as they were on November 9th. This can't really all be about Trump. Because that would have, at least I think, somewhat blown over by now. There has to be something else going on here that I'm not seeing. Because, I've never seen a group stay this angry for this long over who was president.
I don't think it's Trump. I think it is Trump because they were convinced that out of all of the Republicans, they had a slam dunk with getting Hillary in the White House if Trump was elected. That's why they all supported him in the primaries. That's why they all pushed for him, and they tried to convince other Dems that and convince that he wasn't that bad. They tried to convince Republicans that, like, oh yeah, okay, this guy really goes for it with you, and he's a straight talker. You should like him. So I think the problem is, underneath all of that, it's just Republicans being in power. They have been spoiled by 8 years of Obama, of a very hard push left in not only American policy and in D.C., but a very hard push left socially as well. And they have been able to control so many aspects of kind of what shapes this country culturally for the last decade. It was moving that way anyways, and I don't think that always is contingent on a certain president being in office. But it certainly helps when you've got that community and that idea. You've got you've got communities, ideologies, and then also, control in the major points of power to reinforce those things. And I think it's that a Republican won. Now they get to be even more, stompy feet and whiners because it's Trump. But make no mistake, it would not matter if this had been Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, or freaking Kasich. They would have still been having an utter meltdown, I think. And Trump gives them more ammo, yes. But as we all know, I mean, Romney was basically a Nazi before they even took that word seriously, and all of them have been sexist, and all of them have been dangerous, and all of them have been
full of women. Oh, sorry.
Yes, all of our Republican leaders and anyone that's come up to be a nominee of some sort to hold a higher place in office, they have labeled as dangerous and as far right wing and borderline terrorists and borderline Hitler. Trump, that was going to happen anyways. They were going to do that anyways. I don't think some of this other stuff would have happened so, outwardly, so obviously, but he gives them more ammunition to be able to continue to stomp their feet and throw their tantrums. But I think the underlying thing is losing power. And I think once they got Barack Obama in office, they truly never thought they'd lose it. And especially when the GOP nominated Donald Trump, they truly did not think Hillary Clinton could lose. And so I think we are seeing what is going to amount to years-long temper tantrums about all of this. And it's about power. It's about controlling everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I guess they're proving it, but I really didn't think that they were this immature. Now, something else that I want to talk about, because honestly it's been driving me crazy for the last couple of days, is this whole Antifa thing. Because it's time for us to start realizing that they can put the word anti in front of their name all they want, but they're nothing if not fascist. Case in point, in Berkeley, they literally beat the crap out of someone just because they thought they might have been an alt-right Nazi. No proof, no way of knowing for sure. They just decided to.
Well, but see, here's the thing, and this is what I've seen a couple times now is, the thing is it really doesn't matter if he was a Nazi or not, because he was white, so therefore he harbors race, some sort of racist thoughts. Even if he doesn't think he does, he does. And he is in some way responsible as a white person for something that happened to African Americans a couple hundred years ago. So it was okay.
So here's the crazy thing about all this, and I just want folks to let this sink in for a second. We are literally talking about an entire group of people that feel like they are owed something because of something that happened 200 years ago, and they are demanding from people that have never owned slaves some sort of recognition or reparations because of the fact that their ancestors were slaves, even though they themselves have never been slaves. I want the irony of that entire sentence to just seep all the way through into your pores, because it makes absolutely no sense to me that we are where we are right now. The only thing that I keep being reminded of is and I blame a lot of them. I blame the folks like Al Jackson and Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, because they really were looking at what they thought was the end of their money-making career with the election of Barack Obama. This should have been the pinnacle of not only the African-American community's realization of a dream, but also the realization that this country had finally managed to put a lot of our race issues behind us. But because of that, all they did was go around behind the scenes as much as they could and gin up as much racial tension as they could. Under Barack Obama, through folks like Jackson and Sharpton, we have literally watched this country's race relations go back to pre-1960. We are watching the same things that we watched in the 60s happening in streets today. The only difference is now we're watching people that are beating the crap out of white people because they're racist. Because who cares? I don't care if you're a Nazi or not. You're white, so that makes you a Nazi. I never in a million years thought that this would happen within my lifetime. We are watching everything this country was founded upon become unraveled right in front of our eyes, and I don't know what to do other than keep yelling about what's going on and hoping that eventually somebody notices that we really should probably do something before it's too late.
Yeah, I did not think it would get to this extent either. I actually am really surprised by how much of this has turned into almost a movement for segregation. Just, I mean, on their terms. It's like, don't come here, don't do that, don't say this, don't stand with us, don't. But I mean, there's become so many rules, and there's a huge portion of them that basically want special treatment and want a separate, but actually not even really equal, a separate but better, situation for themselves in a lot of ways. It's really crazy, and I'm so sad that this is where we are.
It's just, sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I actually I made the mistake of opening up one of the group DMs that we're in, and they're currently having a pants off dance off with gifts. So anyway, so on that note, folks, we are officially out of time. As a reminder, because of the late start and because I have a migraine, there will not be a live episode of America Off the Rails tonight. However, I do want to remind you folks that we've got a lot of radio coming tomorrow night, so make sure you tune in beginning at 7 Eastern for the One Nation Under FUBAR. Then we have the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Then we have Jess's POV. Then we have the Stafford Voice. And then, of course, provided I'm not curled up in a ball somewhere crying because I still have a migraine. Not to make myself sound like a weenie or anything, but these things suck. Anyway, so I will hopefully be live tomorrow night at 11 Eastern to finish out the night. And then, of course, make sure you tune in for the rest of the week. We have a lot of shows that are coming in. We have some new ones. I want to give a shout out to one more. There's one that we've been working on for quite some time that has actually been put on by a friend of mine who's actually a part of the Federalist Coalition with me. I do encourage you to follow along with him on Twitter as well. His @ is Don on the Air, and I believe that's actually even the name of the show. So if you're interested in checking out some new work that's being put out, make sure you check that out. Also, if you haven't done it yet, you really, really need to. Hardcore Patriot goes up twice a week. Give it a listen. It's awesome. On that note,
yes.
On that note, folks, we are officially out. We have run long, and I need to get out from underneath these lights. You guys have a great night. Take care. God bless. And remember, just take care of each other, because we're Americans first. I'm so tired of all this fighting. I will not